Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has responded to the letter written by his Pakistani counterpart Nawaz Sharif and has expressed happiness at Sharif's decision to be present for the swearing-in ceremony on the 26th of May. The letter states that India and Pakistan, defined by peace, friendship and cooperation, would be of tremendous significance for the progress of the two countries and the entire region. Modi's letter also highlighted the importance of mutual coexistence and underlined India's point that an atmosphere free from confrontation and violence is imperative for the two governments to work together. Well, he emphasized on an atmosphere free from violence, and it comes in the wake of recent ceasefire violations that have taken place from the Pakistani side along the LOC in the Poonch and Rajouri sector in Jammu and Kashmir. So barely 18 days after Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Pakistani counterpart Nawaz Sharif held talks in Delhi, Pakistan got back to its tried and tested tactic of double-speak, while Narendra Modi responded to Sharif's letter and emphasized on an atmosphere free from confrontation and violence as a precondition for peace and progress. Certain sectors in Jammu and Kashmir witnessed continuous ceasefire violations from the Pakistani side. This surge of violence from Pakistan has led to sharp reactions from various quarters in India, particularly the opposition parties who question Modi government's silence on these continuous ceasefire violations.
From my side, I can only appeal that calm be maintained along the line of control. This ceasefire is one of the biggest confidence-building measures that has been given to the people of Jammu and Kashmir by both the governments of India and Pakistan. And we would appeal that this ceasefire be maintained.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi received a 3-hour top-secret briefing today in the Army's War Room by Chairman Chief of Staff Committee, General Bikram Singh, along with the Defence Minister and National Security Advisor on the state of defence preparedness. Sources told Headlines today that Prime Minister was given a detailed brief on terror issues especially related to Jammu and Kashmir and the Northeast region. The Army also laid down its requirements and the need for modernization. India's border scenario with Pakistan and China were also taken up for discussion. And since the Army Chief is also the Chairman of Chief of Staff Committee, he also informed the Prime Minister on tri-service matters. Narendra Modi has a daunting military mission. India's armed forces are in a precarious position, not just in terms of the chronic lack of modernization, but also as a result of repeated frontier violations by Pakistan and China. The certainty of terror rising with impending US pullout from Afghanistan and a deadly spike in cyber attacks as a result of inadequate defenses and counterintelligence, the lack of a clear mandate on special operations and decisions on border infrastructure that simply cannot be postponed any longer. Our Strategic Affairs editor Gaurav Sawant is now joining us with more on this crucial meeting today, and as the armed forces look at the Prime Minister to fix what has been long pending. There has been a status quo of sort as far as modernization is concerned, as far as heightened tension on the border issue remains, considering these ceasefire violations have been reported even this morning. Just take us through the range of issues that were taken up today in this meeting.
Ruchika, let me split this into two parts: the tactical level decisions and the strategic level decisions. Strategic levels, when we talk about acquisitions which are desperately required. If we were to talk about the army does not have artillery since 1987. The last 155 mm howitzers were the Bofors guns that were bought in the mid-1980s. Now the Prime Minister was told of how the army is now cannibalizing its guns to ensure that those critical pieces of equipment can be deployed where they are really required and not where all they should be deployed. That's point one. When we talk about our armor, a lot of our armor, our tanks are night blind. He was informed about that. He was told about helicopters. These are essential not just for the army, also for the Navy and the Indian Air Force. They're desperately required. Now the Prime Minister was also told how there are long delays in
acquisitions because of the process. Now, past 10 years, we've talked about streamlining that process. That streamlining hasn't happened. No bureaucrat is willing to sign the dotted line, and critical equipment is not being purchased. From what sources tell me, the Prime Minister assured the armed forces money will be of no issue when they need to buy what they desperately require for national defense. That's one aspect. If we were to talk about the situation that took place along the line of control this morning, That was a tactical level operation, and for tactical level operations, the commandos on ground have been empowered to respond in kind, escalated to the level they deem it is required. It does not have to come even to Srinagar, Udhampur or to army headquarters in Delhi. You don't need political clearance for tactical level operations, and that is something that has been told to commanders on ground very clearly.
Gaurav Sawant, many thanks for joining us with that update. Well, spiralling prices and the prediction of a poor monsoon is Prime Minister Modi's one of the biggest concerns at the moment. Narendra Modi is holding a meeting with 7 of his ministers to finalize a blueprint to tackle inflation and the looming drought. It's a power meet, and Modi's ministers are making PowerPoint presentations of the strategy that they are going to deploy.